Welcome everyone tonight to our MFA reading series with our special guest, Mary Jones. So glad you could all be here. With our readers tonight, we have Chelsea Covington-Moss, Christine Salvatore, Brandon Hartman, Donna Keegan, and Jim McGurl. So welcome and enjoy. So our next reader is Brandon Hartman.
This one is called Juxtapositions. From the moment we enter Six Flags, my wife Sharon leads the charge. Ride to ride, she advances the stroller ahead like a Greek phalanx. My strides, long as they are, can't keep up. Sophie is holding my hand, and if I go any faster, I'll be dragging her. Sharon carves momentary pathways for us to slip through if we're fast enough. 11-month-old Bailey is riding shotgun. Sharon's face is stony with purpose. Even if she and Bailey aren't going to step foot on a ride, she plans to ensure her husband and daughter will get on every single one, so help her. I suspect she might start running over people and then blame Bailey, who is adding a hyperspeed panorama of images to his limited experience. Wait up, I call, but Sharon's in her zone, ready to blitzkrieg this park. Sophie is high-stepping in the way that kids skip when they're overexcited, but on her countenance that matches her mother's. Already, I can tell she needs the quick time to slow to at least half step. Sharon's getting smaller. Her army green capris and khaki-colored tank top navigate through the masses like a guided missile. Going. The curtain of park goers closes behind her like intermission. Gone. And we've lost her. I break, and Sophie runs into my legs. Your mother is a woman on a mission, I say. Sophie squints up at me from under her long visor. She doesn't know what these adult phrases mean, and I'm not going to explain, because I'm not so sure I know myself. Our pace halted, we enter the shade of the pavilion, checkered with flax-colored tables. We hunker down and wait for Sharon to call my cell. Flies drone drunkenly into the mustard and relish splotches, kamikaze into condiments. Sophie brushes away a particularly persistent pest from landing on her, duck and cover style. She's content to catch her breath. Flies regurgitate every time they land on someone, I say. She scrunches up her nose. What's that? Throw up, puke, vomit. There are enough euphemisms that I almost don't know which one to pick before deciding I shouldn't have said anything in the first place. How to extricate oneself. Something gross, I say. Gross, she echoes. I'm deciding whether I'm hungry for carnival food or disgusted by it when a strange voice calls to me. It might be my imagination among the myriad conversations and the endless loop of carousel music reverberating through the mess hall's rafters. Then I hear it again. Bill! It's Sharon. She's evidently doubled back and now stands at the low gate separating the pavilion from the rest of the human crush. She's revving the stroller back and forth as if at any moment she might hear the starting gun. Sophie and I meet her. Where did you disappear to? She says. Here? What for? Before I can say, because you left us. She peels off through the crowd doing two-wheeled Tokyo drifts. It's a good thing the stroller's wheels are plastic, or she'd have blown off a tread by now. It's hard not to wonder what Bailey thinks about all this. Before we lose her mother again, Sophie takes my hand. We look at each other and shrug before following her into the fray. We're immediately reacquainted with the sun, and it is hot. Thankfully, we're headed toward the Hurricane Harbor water rides. Wait up, Mommel, I yell. Sharon was a history major in college and glares at me, but continues onward. Before I said it, I knew Sophie was going to ask. In fact, I kind of wanted her to ask so that I could showcase my fatherly sense of humor and sage-like knowledge of the world. If my daughter's not impressed by me, who is? What's that? There was a military guy named Rommel, so I called Mom Mommel. It's a pun. Oh, she says, and then, who was he? General, desert fox, conspirator. None of these options place her mother in a flattering light. I begin to realize that being a parent mostly revolves around the act of putting your foot in your mouth. One of the most underrated blessings of parenthood is that our children won't remember half the crap we've screwed up. He liked tanks, I say. Cool. When we catch up to Sharon again, she's already at the entrance to the water chute. She's fanning herself with a flyer from the kiosk. I'm sweating and I don't want her to enjoy relief quite yet. You know that makes you hotter, I say. The energy you're expending is more than Bailey wails and cuts me off. She wheels him into a bench in the shade and sits down behind the stroller. The brim of her hat protrudes over it like a camouflage sniper. I'm so hot, Sophie says. What are you waiting for, Sharon says. Get up there. We start for the stairs. Our heads tilt up like panzer turrets, preparing for long-range fire. Up there, indeed. 8 flights of zigzagging stairs. I look over my shoulder at Sophie. Her eyes plead, carry me? So I do. We get to the landing, my thighs alternating between burning and spasms. I set Sophie down. There's a stillness up here. Could be people wrestling with the question of their mortality before dive bombing from a 100-foot slide. But then I see the real reason. Ahead of us, 3 skinheads wait their turn. Gray swastikas are tattooed into their bicked scalps. Other signs of allegiance, white power, and Hitler's birthday inked into their bare shoulder blades. Meanwhile, Sophie's content to grip the railing and peer past it, through the conglomeration of tunnels twisting toward the ground. Water droplets squeeze out where sections of the long tube are fused together. I've wondered how this never alarms us. Hey, I ask, can you see Mom from here?